Hey guys, Jamie Atkinson here, and I wanted to show you this quick video, which is just going to explain how you can submit your show to iTunes. Now, first of all, we need to go to our podcast host, so that's going to be Simplecast, and I'm going to give you this example on Susan's account, just because this is one of the feeds that we need to submit. So log into your Simplecast, and once you're logged in, with your show completely set up, you'll have everything you need. You'll have your podcast cover art image. It's very important. That's 1400 to 3000 pixels. If it's any bigger than that, or if it's any smaller than that, you're going to have an issue with your feed. And a couple other things to check if you're doing this yourself is under your show settings. By clicking this arrow in show settings, you need a title and a description, and then you need your cover artwork just uploaded down below. Now, once everything and that's done and you've got your categories, you can see here we're categorized in management and marketing. We need you to go back up the top and we need to go onto show distribution. So you can go, if we go back onto the home page again, and I'll show you exactly where to go. But if you're on this overview home page, then all you need to do is click this arrow in the top left-hand corner and click on show distribution. Now, once you've put in your payment details and you've submitted your RSS feed, you're going to have this here, which is the Rss Feed URL. That's basically where your podcast is stored online. And what happens is that these different platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, what they do is they just go and look and see what's on your feed. So your feed can change all the time. If you put a new episode, your episodes basically go into your feed, and then it will just automatically update across these platforms. So essentially the way that podcast hosting works is that you're not specifically uploading your shows to iTunes and you're not uploading it to Google or Spotify. You're uploading it to your feed, and then these just check to see what's in your feed. Now, for the purpose of this video, what I'm going to show you guys and what you guys need to do is to get set up with Apple Podcasts. Now, the reason I need you guys to do this is that when Apple, when we put in for the Apple Podcast and we put your Apple ID in, it's going to ask you for validation, which means it's going to send a text message to your phone, or if it's going to send a message to your Mac, and it's going to say, hey, is this you? We need to validate it's you. So just to clarify again, guys, if you're on the overview, we want you to go to the top here, the little drop down arrow, and go on to show distribution. Once you're on show distribution, just make a note of that RSS feed. You can click it to copy, and then we want to click this button here on Apple Podcasts. Now, what Apple Podcasts is going to say is it's going to say, hey, Apple Podcast is the biggest directory. Here's the link generator. Get started and submit your show to iTunes Connect. And that's what we need you guys to do. Now, once iTunes Connect has been uploaded and it's finished, it's going to take about 4 or 5 days for iTunes to submit and accept your show. So this is important why you do this sooner rather than later. Now, once iTunes accepts your show, it's going to give you a URL, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And once it's in there, you would then come and paste that URL down here. Once that's done, then you're all updated and ready to go for the show. So what I want you guys to do is click on Submit Podcast to Apple. And what's going to happen is under the iTunes account, if you're already logged in like we are with Gina, then we need to make sure that we log out of that here. Let's make sure we log out. And we want to log into the right account. So let me just pause this for 1 second while I put in Susan's details. Okay, so now we've logged in. The first thing that's going to come up is Apple ID and privacy. So basically, Apple wants to be very safe with the records. So it gives you this little privacy warning. And when you hit continue, what's going to happen is it's going to say, hey, we want to validate this. Sometimes what Apple will then do is they'll send you a validation request. First things is the terms of service. So you want to make sure that you read the terms of service and hit I've agreed and hit accept. And once it's been accepted, Podcast requires an iTunes Store account to connect. So one thing you'll have to do at this stage is with Susan's account, she now needs to create an iTunes Store account. If you already have an iTunes Store account, what will happen is you'll have a pop-up which says, hey, I need to know what the code is that just came up on your screen. Hey guys, so I'm back. So we're just going to go through this process once more and I'll show you. So once you've got the terms of service accepted, you can hit accept. And it's going to take you to the next page. And then it's going to ask you for your RSS feed. So remember, when we went back to our Simplecast view, here's our RSS feed. So we just hit copy there and go back to this page. and we paste it in. Once we've pasted it, we hit validate, and it's now going to pull the details for this. So just double check that everything is right. So you've got the right image, you've got the name, and you've got the description for your show. And if you're happy with everything and you're ready, you just hit submit. Podcast successfully submitted for review. So that means it's now submitted. It's going to take a couple of days for that to come through, and that's what you guys need to do. So I need you guys to do that as soon as possible, so that we can get your show up and running with iTunes, and the show will be ready for being launched on the launch day. All right, thanks guys.